Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, July 15. Coming to you live from Seoul, I'm Kim Mo-gen. Before we begin, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. South Korea reports 1,600 new COVID-19 cases Thursday, surpassing the 1,600 mark for the second straight day. As part of efforts to curb the spread, non-capital areas across the nation will begin observing a heightened level of social distancing beginning today. The European Union has proposed an effective ban on the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2035. The move is said to speed up the switch to zero-emission electric vehicles. And the Bank of Korea kept its benchmark interest rate unchanged at a record low of 0.5%. This comes as the bank aims to offset looming economic uncertainties from the fourth wave of the pandemic. We begin with the COVID-19 situation in South Korea as the nation reported 1,600 new cases on Thursday, recording its second highest daily tally. Authorities are concerned over cluster infections and more people are getting tested over infections related to large department stores. Of Thursday's cases, all but 45 were locally transmitted. 2 more people died, bringing the death toll to 2,050. Meanwhile, more than 6 million people in the nation have been fully vaccinated. Numerous experts are sounding the alarm about the COVID-19 situation here in South Korea. They warn that it's likely to get worse before it gets better. They cite the uptick in Delta variant cases and less than ideal vaccine rollout. Kim Do-yeon has more.
Despite South Korea continuing to report its highest ever daily number of COVID-19 cases, experts say that the situation will get even worse before the spread slows down. In fact, the numbers, many experts say, will reach around 2,000 before it starts to get better. While the capital region imposed level 4 of its social distancing measures starting Monday, the benefits will only begin to show later. So, how did the nation get to this point? Most experts turn to the Delta variant.
Israel went past 700 daily cases. They were at 5 about a month ago. That's more than 100 times more. For us, a week ago, Alpha cases were more common than Delta, but now Delta is more widespread. When the Delta variant was spreading, our country lacks the distancing measures.
In addition, South Korea's inoculation drive is slower than some of the countries that are facing a rise in daily cases, such as Israel and the UK. But vaccinations are seen as key in overcoming this particular wave.
We can't do social distancing forever. This is a temporary measure. The real solution is the vaccine.
In addition to bringing down the number of cases, vaccines will help against the severity of each case.
The low rate of inoculations could be a problem, especially because we could have more patients in critical condition.
Experts also added that there could be a balloon effect as the capital region went into the level 4 distancing measure, and while cases slowed down in that area, other regions of the country could see a rise. They added that if the virus isn't stopped fast enough, a serious rise in cases for the rest of the nation is just a matter of time. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Concerns remain over the safety of the Tokyo Games amid a global resurgence of COVID-19. South African rugby players are isolated after coming into contact with a confirmed patient during their flight. Some sports stars question if holding the Olympics is the right move. Han Sung has this story.
There's now fewer than 10 days left until the Tokyo Olympics begin. And Japan's on alert now more than ever, with athletes, staff, and journalists from all over the world arriving in the country. Upon arrival, all visitors are requested to install smartphone apps and activate their GPS so authorities can track their whereabouts. Restrictions include a ban on using public transportation for their first 14 days in the country. Athletes will be tested daily for COVID-19 and isolated in the bubble-like athletes' village, competition venues, or training sites. And in a recent blockbuster move, Japan has decided to bar spectators at most venues.
We have supported this decision of having no spectators in most of the venues with a heavy heart. And this is not only about the spectators, it's first of all about the athletes. They want to feel the atmosphere in the stadium and the support coming from the public. But this decision and our support for this decision shows that we are walking the talk.
Organizers have pledged they will do all they can to hold a safe and secure Olympics. But as more and more people arrive, preventing the spread of the virus will only get tougher. China alone will be sending a total of 431 athletes as part of a whopping 777-member delegation, its largest ever for a sports event held overseas, according to China Central Television. Japanese newspaper Asahi Shimbun reports South Africa's rugby sevens team entered isolation after landing in Japan on Tuesday, arriving on a flight with someone who later tested positive. This comes as more athletes have made it official they will not be competing at the Olympics. Knee problems have forced tennis great Roger Federer of Switzerland to withdraw, joining an already star-studded list of non-participants that includes Rafael Nadal, Serena Williams, and Dominic Thiem. Meanwhile, golf's former world number one Adam Scott, who confirmed back in April that he wouldn't be representing Australia, has questioned whether the decision to go on with the Olympics is responsible, saying, quote, certain parts of the world don't understand the fear the Japanese are experiencing. A new international poll conducted between May 21st and June 4th showed a global average of 54% of respondents were either not very interested or not at all interested in the upcoming games. That figure rose to nearly 70% in the host country, indicating little excitement among the Japanese amid a prolonged pandemic. Han Sung-woo, Arirang News.
South Korea's central bank has kept its benchmark interest rate unchanged at a record low of 0.5%. The decision was made during a Bank of Korea's monetary policy meeting on Thursday morning. The rate freeze likely comes as the bank aims to offset looming economic uncertainties from the fourth wave of the pandemic. The Bank of Korea cut its key interest rate to 0.75% in March last year and lowered it once more to a record low of 0.5% in May last year. Since then, the rate has been left untouched for over a year. The EU has unveiled ambitious plans to ban the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2035, speeding up its drive to zero-emission electric vehicles. Lee Seung-jae with the details.
As part of a broad package of measures to combat global warming and climate change, the European Union on Wednesday proposed an effective ban on the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2035. The move is set to speed up the switch to zero-emission electric vehicles. The European Commission has also proposed a 55% cut in CO2 emissions from cars by 2030 compared to 2021 levels, much higher than the current target of 37.5%. It also proposed a 100% cut in CO2 emissions by 2035, making it virtually impossible to sell any new fossil fuel-powered vehicles in the bloc. However, the ambitious plan was met with heavy criticism from the German Auto Industry Association, which labeled the measures not technology neutral. According to the head of the association, the EU's goal is not open for all technologies that bring climate neutrality and is instead focused too much on electromobility.
We think that all technologies are needed in this huge task of carbon-neutral mobility. That includes battery-operated electrical vehicles. They are a priority, and we must manage to up their manufacturing. But that also includes renewable fuel, because not the engine is the problem, but the fossil fuels.
However, he added that German car makers aim to reach carbon neutrality by 2050 at the latest, but prefers a different method to that put forward by Brussels. With a blueprint this massive, the Commission's proposals need to be negotiated and approved by EU member states, as well as the European Parliament, a process that could take a couple of years. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The U.S. Defense Department says the scope and timing of any joint military exercise between South Korea and the U.S. will be decided in close consultation between the two allies. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said Wednesday that any decisions over the joint drills have been and will continue to be mutual, pointing to the two countries' motto that we go together. Kirby's remarks come ahead of the regular Summertime Seoul-Washington joint event set for August. North Korea has long criticized the joint drills, accusing them of being war rehearsals and calling them a hurdle to inter-Korean dialogue. The U.S. wants to establish a string of diplomatic partnerships to address cybersecurity and technology challenges that it says pose a grave threat to the international community. Washington thinks such partnerships are crucial to counter China's rising influence in the field. Our Kim Hyo-sun has more.
Attending the Global Emerging Technology Summit in Washington, the top U.S. diplomat stressed the importance of diplomacy when it comes to addressing global cybersecurity and technology challenges. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also warned that America's diplomatic values and way of life are fundamentally at stake. In addition, he specifically accused China and Russia of, quote, techno-authoritarianism.
More than anything else, our task is to put forth and carry out a compelling vision for how to use technology in a way that serves our people, protects our interests, and upholds our democratic values. It's not enough to highlight the horrors of techno-authoritarianism, to point to what countries like China and Russia are doing and say that it's wrong and dangerous, even as it is.
Blinken also laid out the 6 pillars to the Biden administration's cyber and tech diplomacy, which includes the reduction of the national security risks posed by malicious cyber activities and emerging technologies. His remarks follow a series of devastating ransomware attacks in the U.S. and around the world. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin also addressed the meeting, highlighting that AI is an integral part of the Pentagon's plans going forward. He described Beijing as Washington's, quote, pacing challenge in the field, with a goal of becoming globally dominant in AI by 2030. However, he insisted the U.S. has a clear roadmap to success.
In the AI realm, as in many others, we understand that China is our pacing challenge. And we're going to compete to win, but we're going to do it the right way. We're not going to cut corners on safety, security, or ethics. And our watchwords are responsibility and results.
Jake Sullivan, President Biden's national security advisor, was also at the meeting. He highlighted the importance of Washington's partnership with countries like South Korea and Japan on critical and emerging tech, ranging from quantum science to semiconductors. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
BTS has appeared on Jimmy Fallon's TV show in the U.S. to perform their new song, Permission to Dance. According to Billboard, BTS sold more CDs in the U.S. in the first half of 2021 than on any other artist. Our Chang Tae-hyun has the details.
K-pop boy band BTS appeared Tuesday night U.S. time on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon to perform their new song, Permission to Dance. It was an upbeat and energetic performance in hues of purple, carried live from a studio, and they were interviewed by the host. They spoke about their feelings on the popularity of the song Butter and being nominated for a Grammy. BTS will be performing Butter on the Jimmy Fallon Show when they appear again on July 15th. Also, the group topped another chart in the US last month, selling more CDs in the first half of the year than any other artist. According to Billboard, they sold some 573,000 CDs, followed by Taylor Swift, who sold some 414,000. And it's been announced that BTS, along with many other global artists, will be taking part in this year's Global Citizen Live. It's a 24-hour broadcast featuring performances in 6 different continents. In addition to BTS, there will be performances by Billie Eilish, Coldplay, Ricky Martin, and others. The concert will promote vaccine equity and an end to global poverty, airing on September 25th on ABC, BBC, YouTube, Twitter, and more. Chang Tae-hyun, Arirang News.
Welcome. It's time for The World Now, bringing you some of the most interesting news from around the globe. I'm Ji-young. There's nothing going to waste. In the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian enclave of 2 million, there's a cafe dedicated to encouraging recycling. At this environment-friendly cafe made out of recycled pieces, customers can enjoy a beach view through what used to be doors of washing machines and sit on tires instead of chairs. The cafe was created by the Sea is Ours Community Association, and the founder calls himself the Doctor of the Sea.
I don't have to be a doctor for humans. I can be the doctor of the sea, a doctor of the community that suffers from several illnesses.
The complex also houses a library and a theater where visitors can learn important lessons about saving the environment. According to an official at the Gaza Environment Quality Authority, some 2,000 tons of solid waste comes out of the Gaza Strip every day. A flying bridge has been revealed in Rome. The bridge crossing Rome's Tiber River was imagined by one of the greatest artists of the Renaissance, Michelangelo, but was never realized by him. His dream was brought to life by a French artist, Olivier Grassetete, as a tribute to the Renaissance master. Titled the Farnese Bridge, the 18-meter-long cardboard bridge held by 3 large white helium balloons floats above the Tiber River. It connects the Renaissance Palace, home to the French Embassy, to the gardens of Villa Farnesina on the other side of the river. It was inaugurated on Tuesday on the eve of France's Bastille Day national celebration and will remain in place until July 18th. Perseus, the homeless cat, is walking again with his 3 new legs. He lost his legs after a tragic car accident left him with just 1 limb. With help of experts with a veterinary clinic in Greece, he got 3 new high-tech prosthetic legs made from titanium and plastic paws made with 3D printing technology. The 1.5-year-old cat arrived at the clinic last year and went through 3 surgeries to attach the artificial limbs.
Within the first 10-15 seconds, he acted as if he had always had them. He walked immediately without a problem. He adapted very quickly.
She also added that there have been many requests to adopt a cat, but she has grown attached to him.
Good morning. Many regions had their hottest temperatures of the season on Wednesday, including here in the capital. And it looks to be as hot as yesterday, with heat wave alerts still in place. And high humidity will make it feel hotter. And of course, wearing a face mask makes it even more unbearable. So air conditioning is a must these days, but being in an air-conditioned area for too long can result in an array of uncomfortable symptoms. So we need to use it wisely. Most major cities will see highs hitting 33 degrees Celsius this afternoon, with a chance for heavy and sudden showers for most inland areas. So inland regions in Jeollanam-do province will see 5 to 40 millimeters. Elsewhere, we'll see 10 to 60 millimeters through tomorrow. While east will be seeing heavy rain today, while the west can expect lots of rain tomorrow. We will be seeing a repeat of today's scorching conditions through early next week, with a chance for frequent showers, so we'll need to keep an umbrella handy. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
And that will do it for us at this hour on Arirang News. We'll be back at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.